If you're listening to this at 3 a.m., unable to sleep, haunted by your own ghosts, this story is for you. What you're about to hear will hurt. It will anger you. It will break something inside you that you didn't know could still break. But you'll listen to the end. Because some stories grab you by the throat and don't let go until they're finished with you. Before we begin, if this story grips you the way I think it will, hit that subscribe button now. You'll want to hear what comes next. Trust me. The iron hissed against expensive silk, and Naomi's hands shook. Not from fear. From rage she'd been swallowing for 703 days. She stood in the laundry room of the Gangnam penthouse, pressing a white shirt that cost more than her life was apparently worth. Her left hand, the one missing 2 fingers, gripped the handle with practiced care. The pinky and ring finger had been gone for 2 years, but she still felt them sometimes. Phantom limbs reaching for phantom justice. She'd lost them in a warehouse in Incheon, the same warehouse where her brother Samuel had bled out on concrete, begging for mercy that never came. The man who owned this shirt had watched it happen. She knew because she'd found the photographs. Naomi folded the shirt with mechanical precision, placed it on the mahogany dresser, and checked her watch. Mr. Han would be home in 40 minutes. Enough time to finish the bedroom, wipe down the bathroom, disappear into the kitchen like the ghost she'd become. That was the trick, really. Becoming invisible. Rich men in Seoul didn't notice their maids' faces. They especially didn't remember the face of a Nigerian woman they'd mutilated 2 years ago in a warehouse they owned. Why would they? She'd been nobody. A loose end. A sister stupid enough to fly to Korea looking for her brother, only to find him already dead and herself strapped to a table while a man in an expensive watch explained her options. 2 fingers or your life, he'd said in perfect English, almost bored. Choose quickly. I have dinner at 8. She'd chosen the fingers. He'd used bolt cutters. Clean. Surgical. Professional. Then he'd let her go. Not mercy, just efficiency. Who would believe a foreign woman with no papers, no money, accusing a man who probably had half the police on his payroll? Naomi had spent 3 months in a shelter. 3 months learning Korean. 3 months planning. Getting into his house had taken 8 more months of patience she didn't know she had. But now she was here. And soon, very soon, Mr. Han would understand what it felt like to lose something you couldn't grow back. The front door opened. I'm home. His voice. Flat. Tired. The voice of a man who'd killed people and slept fine afterward. Naomi stepped into the hallway, head bowed, eyes down. Good evening, sir. Dinner is ready. He walked past without looking at her. Just loosened his tie and headed for his office, trailing expensive cologne and cigarette smoke. She watched him disappear behind the door. Her damaged hand curled into a fist. Soon, she thought. But not yet. Not until I'm sure. The photographs had been an accident. 2 months ago, cleaning his study, she'd found the locked drawer. Normally, she wouldn't have touched it. Too risky. But something had pulled at her. Instinct, maybe, or fate. She'd learned to pick locks on YouTube. Inside, 20, maybe 30 surveillance photos. Her brother Samuel in Lagos. Samuel at the airport. Samuel in that warehouse. Hands zip-tied, terror in his eyes. And 1 photo of bolt cutters on a metal table. Her bolt cutters. Her table. Naomi had vomited in his bathroom that day. Quietly. Then cleaned it up, fixed her makeup, and served him dinner like nothing had shattered inside her. You look pale, he'd said, not really looking at her. Just tired, sir. Don't get sick. I have guests this weekend. She'd wanted to stab him with the dinner knife. Instead, she'd smiled and refilled his wine. Because revenge required patience. And patience required swallowing knives every single day until the right moment came. The right moment arrived on a Tuesday 3 weeks later. Mr. Han had a guest. Older Korean man, gray at the temples, wearing a suit that screamed old money and older violence. They'd closeted themselves in the office for 2 hours. Naomi had stood outside the door, tray of tea in her hands, listening. The Lagos operation needs cleanup, the older man said. I'm handling it. Like you handled the musician? Silence. Then Mr. Han's voice, almost amused. That was 2 years ago. Clean job. Was it? You left the sister alive. She was nobody. I made sure she understood the cost of talking. And if she didn't stay quiet, she did. No problems since. Probably went back to Nigeria. The older man sighed. You're getting sloppy, Jae-sung. Jae-sung. His real name. Naomi's hands had trembled so hard the teacups rattled. She'd knocked. Come in. She'd entered, eyes down, poured the tea with steady hands that wanted to shake. The older man had looked at her then. Really looked. His eyes had dropped to her hands. The missing fingers. Something had flickered across his face. Recognition, maybe, or suspicion. Have we met? He'd asked slowly. No, sir, Naomi had said in careful Korean. I don't think so. You're new. 6 months, Jae-sung had said dismissively. She's fine. Naomi, leave us. She'd bowed and left, but she'd seen it. The older man remembered, and that meant her time was running out. 3 days later, they came for her. Naomi was at the market when she felt eyes on her back. 2 men, professional, not looking at her but tracking her movements. She'd abandoned her groceries and run. Not home. Too obvious. She ducked into a cafe, ordered coffee, sat by the window. Her phone had buzzed. Unknown number. She'd stared at it for 5 rings before answering. Naomi. Jae-sung's voice. Calm. Almost friendly. Where are you? She'd said nothing. I know you're not at the apartment. I know you're running. Don't. I quit. He'd laughed. Soft. Dangerous. No. You don't get to quit. Come back. We'll talk. There's nothing to. I know who you are, Naomi. I know what you are. I pulled your real background check. Naomi Okoro. Sister of Samuel Okoro. The musician who got himself killed stealing from the wrong people. A pause. Then quieter. You've been in my house for 6 months. In my life. You think I'm stupid. Her throat had closed. Come back now, he'd continued. Or my men bring you back. Your choice. But the conversation happens either way. The line went dead. Across the street, one of the men was on his phone. Naomi had stood, walked to the subway, rode it to Gangnam, walked into the building, took the elevator to the penthouse. The door was unlocked. Inside, Jae-sung sat on his white leather sofa, whiskey in hand, tie loosened. He'd looked at her with something between curiosity and respect. Sit. She hadn't moved. I'm not going to hurt you, Naomi. You already did. He'd glanced at her mutilated hand. That was business. You understand business. You killed my brother. Your brother stole from me, tried to run, threatened to involve the police. He'd sipped his drink. I don't kill people for fun. I kill them when they become problems. He was 23. He was a thief. Naomi had felt something crack inside her. Why am I here? Jae-sung had stood, walked to the window, hands in pockets. Casual. Like they were discussing the weather. Because you're smart. Smarter than Samuel. You spent 6 months in my home planning God knows what. Revenge? Murder? Going to the police. He'd turned. But you didn't. You waited. Which means you're either very patient or very conflicted. I'm not conflicted. Then why wait? She hadn't answered. He'd stepped closer. Too close. I think, he'd said softly, you wanted to understand. You wanted to see if I was a monster or just a man. You wanted a reason to hate me that felt clean. His eyes had searched hers. Did you find one? Yes. Liar. He'd reached out, touched her damaged hand. She'd flinched but hadn't pulled away. I think about that day sometimes, he'd said. You screamed so much I thought you'd pass out. But you didn't. You stayed conscious through all of it. Watched me. I've never seen someone endure that much pain with that much awareness. Is that supposed to impress me? No. It's supposed to make you understand that I don't forget faces. I remembered yours the moment you walked into this apartment 6 months ago. The floor had dropped out of her world. You knew? The whole time. Of course I knew. Then why? Because I wanted to see what you'd do. I wanted to see if you were brave or stupid. He'd smiled without warmth. Turns out you're both. Naomi's legs had gone weak. So what now? You kill me? No. Then what? Now you work for me. Really work for me. You're smart. Resourceful. You infiltrated my life. That's valuable. I'd rather die. No, you wouldn't. You want to live. You want. He'd paused. Revenge? Justice? Purpose? I can give you all three. By becoming you? By surviving me. And somehow, God help her. She'd heard herself say, "What do you want me to do?" His smile had widened. Good girl. If you're still listening, leave a comment below. Tell me, would you have walked away? Or would you have stayed? Because what happens next will make you question everything you think you know about revenge. 3 months later, Naomi killed a man. Not her first violent act since joining Jae-sung's operation, but her first kill. The target was a business partner in Busan who'd stolen money. Simple job. Deliver the message. She'd walked into his office after hours. He'd looked up from his paperwork, confused. "Can I help you?" She'd pulled the gun Jae-sung had given her. "Mr. Choi, you owe the Han family 200 million won." His face had gone white. I'm getting it. I just need more time." "You've had time. Please. My family." She'd shot him in the knee. Not because Jae-sung had ordered it. Because she'd needed him to believe she could. Mr. Choi had screamed. Collapsed. She'd stood over him. Gun steady. "Tell your wife you fell. You have 2 weeks. Late again, and I come back for something you can't regrow." She'd left him crying on the floor. That night, alone in her new apartment, Jae-sung had moved her somewhere safer, meaning closer to him. Naomi had stared at her hands. The same hands that had held her brother when he was a baby. The same hands that were now missing 2 fingers. The same hands that had just put a bullet in a man's knee without hesitation. She'd thought she was becoming a weapon. She hadn't realized she was becoming him. The nights were when everything got complicated. Jae-sung started calling her to his apartment. Not for business. Started a month into her new role. She'd arrived to brief him on a shipment. He'd been drinking, not drunk, but loose. "Stay," he'd said when she tried to leave. "Why?" "Because I'm asking." She should have left. She'd stayed. They talked. About Lagos. About Seoul. About survival. He'd told her about his father. A brutal man who'd beaten discipline into his sons until one became a monster and the other became a corpse. "My brother was kind," Jae-sung had said, staring into his glass. "Our father hated that. Beat it out of him. Except you can't beat kindness out of someone. You just make them hate themselves for having it." What happened to him? Killed himself at 19. He'd said it like he was ordering coffee. "I'm sorry. Don't be." He made a choice. We don't always choose our pain. He'd looked at her then. Really looked. "No, we don't." He'd kissed her. And she'd let him. That was the moment Naomi Okoro stopped fighting and started drowning. It happened again. And again. Some nights he was rough. Angry at ghosts she wasn't part of. She'd leave with bruises hidden under long sleeves. Some nights he was gentle. Almost tender. Those nights were worse because they made her forget. 6 months into this twisted arrangement. Lying in his bed at 2 a.m. while he slept, Naomi had stared at the ceiling and admitted the truth she'd been running from. She was in love with the man who'd killed her brother. The realization had felt like drowning in glass. She'd gotten up, dressed, walked to the window. Seoul glittered below, beautiful and cold. "Where are you going?" Jae-sung's voice behind her. "Home. This is home." "No. This is a cage I walked into." He'd sat up. "You could leave. I've never locked the door." "You don't need to. You're smarter than that." Silence. Then, "Naomi, what do you want from me?" She turned. Looked at this beautiful, terrible man. "I want you to say you're sorry." "For which part?" "All of it." "I'm not." "I know." She'd left. But she'd come back the next night. Because addiction doesn't ask permission. The truth detonated on a Sunday. 8 months since she'd started working for him. 6 since they'd started sleeping together. They were in his apartment. He was cooking. Something he did sometimes, a domesticity that made her chest ache. His phone rang. He checked it. Frowned. I need to take this. He'd walked to his office. Closed the door. Naomi should have stayed in the kitchen. Instead, she'd moved closer. Pressed her ear to the wood. Need to clean up your mess? An older voice said. Authority. Anger. The shipment's compromised. I'll handle it. Like you handled the Nigerian situation? Pause. That's ancient history. Is it? Because someone matching that description has been seen in Busan. Missing fingers on her left hand. Asking questions. Naomi's blood had frozen. That's impossible, Jae-sung had said. Is it? Where's your maid right now? Silence. Then, I'll call you back. Footsteps. Naomi had moved fast back to the table setting plates. The door opened. Jae-sung looked at her. How long have you been standing there? Just came to ask about wine. Don't lie to me. Her hands tightened on the plate. I wasn't. You've been going to Busan. Not a question. For work. Your work. Asking questions about Nigerian operations. About shipping routes. Her heart slammed. I don't know what you're. Who did you talk to? The plate shattered on the floor. They stared at each other. You've been using me, he said slowly. This whole time. The job. He gestured between them. All of it. Just gathering information. Naomi could have lied. Instead, she said, yes. The word tasted like freedom and ash. His face didn't change. For what? Evidence. Enough to bury you. The police. Everyone. He'd stepped back. Laughed, sharp and bitter. You think you can touch me? My family owns half the police. The other half knows better. I'm not going to the police. That stopped him. Then who? She pulled out her phone. Showed him the folder. Photos. Documents. Recordings. 8 months of evidence. I'm going to the world. 3 journalists have access. International. If I don't check in every 72 hours, everything releases automatically. The color drained from his face. Everything. Everything. The shipments. The murders. The warehouse. Samuel. All of it. Us. She hesitated. No. That's mine. Something shifted in his expression. Pain. Real pain. Why? He whispered. If you were going to destroy me anyway, why sleep with me? Why let me? Because I wanted to understand how someone becomes you. And I found out. That's the worst part. He moved to the window, pressed his forehead against the glass. You should run, he said finally. Right now. 10-minute head start. I'm not running. Then you're dying. Maybe. But you're dying with me. He turned. Looked at her with something like respect. You really did love him. Samuel. Yes. More than you love me? The question broke something. I don't love you, Naomi whispered. Liar. He was right. God help her, he was right. Jae-sung made a call. Rapid Korean. Terse. Angry. He hung up. Turned. They're coming. My family. 20 minutes. To kill me? To clean up the mess. I'm a mess now? You've always been a mess. I just didn't mind. She should have run. Every instinct screamed. But she stayed. Why tell me? She asked. Because you deserve a choice. Leave now. Disappear. I'll say you got away. They'll know you're lying. I don't care. Yes, you do. He crossed the room. Stood close enough she could feel his breath. What do you want me to say? That I'm sorry? I'm not. That I love you? I do. That I'd let you destroy me? I would. Her throat tightened. Don't. Don't what? Make this harder. It's already hard, Naomi. He kissed her. She kissed him back. And understood. Revenge doesn't feel good when you love the person you're destroying. The door burst open. 3 men. Armed. Jae-sung stepped in front of her. She's with me. The lead man, the older one from months ago, shook his head. No. She's a liability. I said she's with me. And I'm saying she's not. Step aside. Jae-sung. No. The older man sighed. raised his gun. Not at Naomi. Jae-sung. You've become weak. Just like your brother. Uncle. The shot was deafening. Jae-sung stumbled. Looked at the blood spreading across his shirt. Looked at Naomi. Run, he whispered. Then collapsed. Naomi ran. Made it to the stairwell. Hands grabbed her. Slammed her against concrete. She fought. Kicked, scratched, bit. Too many. They dragged her back. Jae-sung was still breathing. Barely. Blood pooling beneath him. The older man crouched beside him. This is what happens when you forget who you are. She has nothing. Jae-sung coughed blood. She has everything. He looked at Naomi. Evidence. Recordings. You're not the first to try this. Not even the smartest. He nodded. The man raised his gun to her head. She closed her eyes. Thought of Samuel. Thought of her mother who'd never know what happened to her children. Thought of Jae-sung, bleeding out for a woman who'd planned his destruction. Wait. Jae-sung's voice. Weak but clear. Kill her and the files release. Automatic. Encrypted. Timed. You have maybe 70 hours. The older man's expression darkened. You're lying. Check her phone. They did. She watched realization dawn. Where's the password? He demanded. Only I know it, Naomi said. A lie, but convincing. He pressed the gun to her temple. Tell me. No. I'll kill him first. Make you watch. He's already dying. The older man smiled. Cold. There are worse things than dying. He nodded. They dragged her to Jae-sung. Forced her to her knees. I'm sorry, Jae-sung whispered. Blood on his lips. Truth in his eyes. The older man pulled out a knife. Last chance. Password, or I start taking pieces. Naomi looked at Jae-sung. The man who'd killed her brother. Taken her fingers. Somehow become the only person who understood her. Do it, she said. Not to them. To Jae-sung. He understood. His hand shot out. Grabbed the gun from the holster beside him. 3 shots. Fast. Precise. 2 men dropped. The older man stumbled back. Jae-sung's hand was shaking now. Blood loss. Shock. But his aim held. Run, he told Naomi again. This time she didn't. She grabbed the knife from the floor. Stood. The older man was reaching for his phone. Naomi moved. The knife went into his throat before he could dial. He fell. Silence. Just breathing. Ragged. Desperate. She dropped the knife. Turned to Jae-sung. He was fading. Fast. She knelt beside him. Pressed her damaged hand to his chest. Felt his heartbeat stuttering. The password, he whispered. What is it really? She hesitated. Then, there is no password. No automatic release. Just me choosing when. He laughed. Blood bubbled between his lips. Smart girl. I learned from the worst. Will you release it? She thought about Samuel. About justice. About revenge that tasted like ashes. I don't know. Good. His hand found hers. The damaged one. That means you're still human. His eyes closed. His chest stopped moving. Naomi sat in the blood and silence, holding the hand of the man who destroyed her life and somehow become part of it. And she cried. Not for him. For the version of herself who died in this room along with him. 3 days later, Naomi Okoro disappeared. No body was ever found at the penthouse. The police report listed a gas leak. Explosion. 5 casualties. No survivors. The files never released. But a week later, a package arrived at 3 major news outlets. Evidence. Photos. Documents. Enough to start investigations that would take down an empire. Not all of it. Just enough. Naomi watched from a cafe in Busan as the news broke. Watched Jae-sung's family scramble. Watched justice happen slowly, imperfectly. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello. Silence. Then, I know you're alive. A woman's voice. Older. Korean. Who is this? Someone who knows what it's like to lose a brother. Someone who understands revenge. A pause. My son was a monster. But he was my son. And you killed him. Naomi's blood went cold. If you're calling for revenge, I'm calling to say thank you. The line went dead. Naomi sat there, phone in her hand, understanding the final truth. There are no clean endings, just survivors and ghosts. And sometimes you're both. If this story grabbed you, shattered you, made you question what you do in Naomi's position, leave a comment. Tell me, was she a victim or a villain? Hit that like button if you made it to the end. Subscribe because you know you need more stories that hurt this good. And remember, the best revenge isn't destruction. It's surviving long enough to tell the story.